In algebra, variables are stand-ins for numbers. So here we have a variable, 3x minus 2. This is not an unknown, it's a variable, so it can represent different numbers. So what we can do then is we can substitute different numbers into this x. Now we need to be clear which numbers we want to substitute. So we're going to let x, so we make this let statement. This let statement makes it fairly formal. We're going to let x equal 2. So if I let x equal 2, I'm going to take that x, maybe I'm going to do this in different colors here. So I'm going to take this x, and I'm going to replace that x with x equals 2. So there's my new calculation. Instead of 3x minus 2, if I let x equals 2, I replace the x with a 2, and then I can calculate this. So this becomes 6 minus 2. 6 minus 2 is equal to 4. Again, notice that I'm doing my calculations vertically. I don't have a bunch of equal signs going sideways. I can see my equality. 3 times 2 equals 6. Negative 2 equals negative 2. I make sure I bring everything down vertically. For number 2, we'll do the same thing. I have this 3 times x. This time I'm going to represent x in green. Minus 2. We're going to let x equal negative 5. So I replace the x with negative 5. Once I do that, I can do the calculation. 3 times negative 5 is negative 10. Minus 2. Again, I bring everything down vertically. Negative 10 minus 2. Be careful of the negatives. Negative 10. We're going to go minus 2, which means to the left. So we're going to make it more negative. So we end up with negative 12. Okay, so we have to make sure that we account for those signs when we minus. Negative, minus, so we're going to become more negative. So we'll do the same thing here. We have a different expression this time. So 5, x I'll model in blue here. So we're going to use negative 1 and then plus 6 is part of the original expression. So now I've got my variable expression. I've defined the variable as x equals negative 1, so then I replace the x with negative 1, and now I can do my calculation. So negative 5 plus 6, it's negative 5, I go to the right, I'm going to end up with positive 1. And again, I'm doing all my work vertically. Here I'm going to do the same thing, except I'm going to replace the x. In this case, the x is going to be replaced by x equals 10. So I've defined my x as 10. I can replace the x with the number 10. Once I do that, I can do my calculation. So 5 times 10 equals 50, so that my equality is going vertically. I make sure I keep track of all my terms. So it equals 56. So here's my expression. In this case, I have a squared. So there's my x. So I have x squared plus 4. The x is going to be replaced with x equals 3. So I'm going to replace the x first, then square it, and then I can add on the 4. So in this case here, it becomes 9 plus 4. Again, I can see everything vertically, and that works out to be 13. For part 2 here, I'm going to do the same thing, except so I have my x, and that's going to be my negative 2. And I'm going to square that and add 4. So I've done my substitution. I'm going to square it. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4, or negative 2 squared is positive, plus 4. Everything's done vertically. I keep track. I make sure I bring down all my terms vertically as well. So my answer is 8. So for D, my expression is going to be negative 2 times x. Here I've defined x as equal to 4, so I'm going to replace the 2 with the x with 4. Again, notice I'm always using brackets when I do this to keep it organized. It allows me to know the sign in between here. There's an implied times here, and if I use brackets, I can keep that implied times. Negative 2 times positive 4 is negative 8 minus 8. So I don't do 8 minus 8, I do negative 8 minus 8, which gives me negative 16. So I'll do the same thing here. Negative 2 times bracket x, which I'm replacing with negative 4, minus 8. This time I get negative times negative is positive 8, minus 8. Well, 8 minus 8 gives me 0. Okay, and I replace the x with that negative 4. Here I have, I have negative 2. I'm going to replace that x with positive 4 again. And then I'm going to square that. So I'm not replacing the x squared. I'm replacing just the x. I have to remember to square it. And plus 9. So I have to use BEDMAS here. Negative 2, I'm going to square first. And again, notice I can see my equals vertically. Everything has to be brought down that doesn't get calculated. Negative 2 times 16 is negative 32. Negative 32 plus 9, I'm going to become negative 23. So I'll do the same thing here. Negative 2. The x is going to be replaced with negative 1. So I have negative 1. I'm going to square negative 1. So I'm just keeping in mind that squaring a negative is positive. I need to start being more aware of all these negatives and having a good strategy to keep track of them. Negative 2 times 1 plus 9. Negative 2 plus 9. Negative 2 plus 9 is positive 7. I'll just leave that as 7.